Hey folks, Professor Finn here, and today we're going to be looking at general restorations in our Restorative Art lecture series. Very quick video. Take a moment to like, share, subscribe to the channel, click the notification button, tag a friend who might want to hear about this or someone who actually doesn't. Clout is clout. I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Let's go ahead and give the quick disclaimer. These are old lectures, not based off of some newer textbooks that just came out, so just be aware of that as you go into it. But there should be some pretty solid information. Let's go ahead and get the screen shared and talk about general restorations. So, restorative art begins long before cosmetics are applied. It starts with the pre-embalming procedures and continues throughout the embalming process. So essentially, restorative art begins with the embalming process. The moment that you are making your pre-embalming analysis, your embalming analysis, you are thinking, what am I going to do? What type of color am I going to impart with the type of fluids in the solution that I'm going to create? How should that turn things in my favor? And then as you start completing the embalming, the terminal disinfection, you're looking to say, okay, so what do I need to do next? First up, shaving. Do not use a razor more than once. Use shaving cream with lanolin. Lubricate the face after shaving to prevent burn. Pluck and cut nose hairs and reduce blackheads, whiteheads, and pustules carefully. Do not use fingers. Squeeze with soft tissue or a soft paper product. Holes will close during embalming. So there are a variety of different razors that people have used in the prep room. I prefer to use straight razors. So that is my thing, but you need to be very careful and very proficient. So you're going to want to practice using a straight razor before you just start chopping on people with it. I know a lot of people that like using the quick and easy disposable super cheapy razors like you see in the middle here. I am not a big fan of those. You can easily go through a lot of those on a single person. Um, Whatever you prefer to use, you will continue to use. But the moral of the story is always try to use fresh razors. When you are using a fresh razor, you should always start in an area that is not going to be visible in order to dull the razor a little bit to prevent any problems. Then use a quality shaving cream. A lot of people just go buy a can of, you see the product there on the screen, Barbasol or something of that nature. I am a huge fan of using a high quality shave soap. You can get these on Amazon. You can get these at TJ Maxx in the men's section sometimes. You can get them at Burlington in the men's section. And the reason is there is not a whole lot of alcohol in shave soap. Alcohol is a dehydrating agent, so there is an increased risk of redness when you are using something like a over-the-counter shake the can and spray it into your hands type of product. By using a high-quality shave soap, in my opinion, it is a more premium experience for the decedent. Not that they would take a benefit from it, but they're generally better for skin, and if they're better for skin, they're better for corpses. Once you are done, make sure to go ahead and put some massage cream or some other moisturizer on there to prevent razor burn, and then do other general hygiene and trimming, just to prove that you are a superior person in the prep room by caring for the dead appropriately. If dentures are available, they should be used. If there are no natural teeth, if you are using a mouth former, you may need to go ahead and edit these down. Pair of scissors can help with that. Again, you will learn these techniques in the time of your apprenticeship or internship, and then you will just simply use what you are comfortable with going forward. The mouth can be closed by either a needle injector or a suture. Needle injectors are probably some of the most convenient tools out there. Me personally, I like using a mandibular suture. Mastic or cotton can be used to fill out the area below the lips and the buccal cavity to fill out the face. Mastic can be inserted using a syringe or a specially made injector. Mastic is some nasty stuff. Let me tell you what, it gets everywhere. It sticks to everything. I am not a big fan of it. I typically like using cotton. If I am putting cotton in the mouth, then if there is going to be any small amount of purge that might back up, the cotton will catch it and I can replace it. If I'm worried about dehydration, because cotton will wick moisture away from the tissue, especially if you're using absorbent cotton, a light layer of massage cream on that side will more than adequately protect the skin from dehydration. Eye closure. Eyes meet at the lower 1/3 of the eye. One of the biggest rookie mistakes is you close the eye right down the middle so that they're squinting. That is not a thing. Make sure you close the eyes appropriately. Do not overlap eyes. They abut. You will see later in this course, and even I think in the embalming book, that if you have severely traumatized eyelids, one of the things you can do is you can tuck it so that they overlap to hold things shut. That is a viable technique, but absent anything asking you in the case of trauma, the proper way to close an eye is to put it so that the eyes meet in the lower 1/3 of the eye and the lids abut. End of story. There are various styles of eye caps and even sizes of eye caps that are available, and you can trim eye caps to fit. So if you need to do some trimming to make things look right, by all means, you can use petroleum jelly, massage cream, stay cream, mastic to help adhere the eyelid to the eye cap to prevent it from moving. Clean eyelashes, curl them a bit, and close the inner canthus. I like using Caleb Stay Cream. It's a very, very sticky wax. Just put a little dab of it on there. You could also use super glue if you need to glue things down. There are various techniques out there. There are a number of individuals now here in 2026 marketing themselves as restorative art specialists. They're offering classes and everything. A good buddy of mine offers one, John Hill. If you have an option to attend one of his Restore lectures, by all means, check him out. Ears, place cotton behind the lobes to prevent drooping. You don't want them falling back, so a little something placed back there to push things out helps the ear stay in place. And if you do that during embalming, you do that while the body is on the cooling table prior to cosmetizing. Hopefully embalming will kick in and hold the lobes right where they need to be, so you don't have to try to gimmick something while they are in the casket. And as I said, folks, this one was short and sweet. Take a moment to, again, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, click notifications, drop something in the comments below letting me know how I'm doing. And we will see you next video.